All right, we're here with Andrew at the Outpost from Brimstone Coven.
What's up?
This is the last show of the year, huh?
Yes. Yeah, we've been hitting it pretty hard this year. I mean, the past couple of years we've been hitting it so hard show-wise that, we've really not... We're overdue for a record, basically. So this is, after tonight, we're going to crawl into the basement and record that long overdue record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, for Metal Blade?
No, we're actually free agents now. They own the last two, the self-titled and Black Magic, but our contract was up, so we had a meeting and we kind of mutually agreed, to be free agents. So that's what we're doing now. We were toying with the idea of shopping it, but I think we're kind of so overdue that would just lengthen out the process even more.
Yeah.
And we're really kind of self-reliant and do it yourself anyway.
Yeah.
So I think we're just going to self-release it. But it'll probably be on multiple formats. It'll be on CD and vinyl, I imagine.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's kind of the way to do it now, man. I mean, you guys got a little springboard with Metal Blade, but like I was telling you, like our band is the same way. We're just totally independent and have been forever. No. I don't even know how we'd act if there was any a circle of people telling us what to do in any kind of capacity,
Yeah, I've kind of been telling everybody, like, that, I met a guy not too long ago, and he's been doing the DIY thing forever. He's got it down to a science, and he's like, I've been thinking about shopping to a label. I'm like, dude, you're just going to get frustrated because you've been doing it yourself so long. You're used to keeping your own timelines and things like that, you're going to get frustrated with the timeline that a label's going to put on you, and, it's going to make you like it less. So just keep doing what you're doing, man. You're doing fine,
Yeah, man, it's kind of like the internet's kind of a double-edged sword. Like a lot of people complain about it because it's so saturated, but at the same time, it's easier than ever to do your own stuff. I mean, because that's all we've ever done.
It is. It's a blessing and a curse because there's just so much stuff to weed through to get to the good stuff that, a lot of good stuff gets overlooked and overshadowed by whoever is promoting themselves the most. But at the same time, like you said, you could do everything yourself, you could release it yourself, and if you have the right avenues and have the right connections, on social media or whatever, you could reach as many people as any other label can.
Yeah.
Sure,
Yeah, it's interesting times we live in. But I'm finding more good music. I mean, that's another complaint. Is a lot of people are just like, the music sucks now. It's like there's a ton of good bands, man.
I beg to differ. Yeah, it's a fine time for music. I think that there's more. I truly think, and I brought this up the other day, I think there's more bands and more music out now than there ever has been in the history of music ever.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know if it's just awareness because of like the internet and social media or whatever, but just if I go through my friends list, like, it's very rare to see somebody's profile pic that's not holding an instrument or up on a stage.
Right.
Like, everybody's in a band. Everybody's writing music.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, and it's the quality of it's good, too. But, I mean, it's more global now. So, like, I've been finding myself listening to a bunch of bands from Sweden, of all places. But it's rock and roll stuff. It's really good shit. And, I mean, they're making records, and they're making... all the songs on the album are great, and it's songwriting. It's not just them dialing in that retro sound. Because a lot of bands do that and they don't have songs. And there's a handful of bands out there that just have songs for days and never would have known without the internet.
It's true. Yep, you're absolutely right. And Sweden's always kind of been a hotbed for great music, though.
Yeah, they're like the Seattle of Europe.
Yeah,
just a little bigger. It's not just a city. But
when death metal was a baby, I always gravitated towards Swedish death metal, and when black metal came out, or at least got popular or whatever, it seemed like most of the better bands were coming from either Norway or Sweden.
Yeah.
And now, even now, like you said, rock and roll. I mean, there's always been like the Helicopters. They've been around forever, so they've been playing good rock and roll forever.
Yeah.
They're out of Sweden, So 9 times out of 10, if you pick up a Swedish band's record, it's gonna rock.
Yeah. And the whole thing is just good front and back.
Yep.
It's like, what are you guys drinking, man? You got something in the water or some shit?
Yeah, it's got to be like, I would love to live there because like every garage, you just have to walk down the alley. Every garage has to be some awesome band rehearsing, right?
Check out this what could be a classic record if records still sold, millions,
right,
or whatever. Yep. You probably don't have to sell millions to even go like gold in Sweden.
And
it's
that's
probably like 10,000.
The downside of the digital age or whatever is that so many less people are buying physical media nowadays compared to pre-internet or whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, I meet plenty of purists that like, and I'm one of those people. Like, if I like something, I'm going to buy the physical product.
Right.
I'm not gonna. I don't have any MP3s. I don't have any.
Whoa,
None.
wow.
Yeah, I've never downloaded an album ever.
Damn.
Yeah.
So you guys listen to nothing in the van?
Oh, I do, but I mean, I'll get the CD or whatever,
Yeah.
and then I'll rip it in, Windows Media or something.
Right.
And
I
it
gotcha.
ends up right here on this USB drive, and
Okay.
just rock it that way.
Yeah, because this thing doesn't have CD player, does it?
It does, yeah.
Okay.
But just so I don't have to carry my collection everywhere.
Yeah.
I just throw it on that thing, and I paid for it, so hey,
Yeah.
why not?
Yeah, I try to pay for my music. I mean, I'm a, you're probably a vinyl guy. I'm
Yeah.
always have been. I never, but I mean, thank God for this resurgence of
Yes,
vinyl because
I would totally
vinyl's
agree.
bigger than ever. I guess it
Yeah.
sold like 12 million vinyls last year.
Yep.
And
it's
it
blown
keeps
up
going
again.
up.
And I'm just overjoyed that people are buying something. Like, no
Yeah.
matter what it is,
Right.
I'm just happy about it.
Yeah, me too. I mean, people still buy CDs at shows. I've noticed on our own shows, But see, here's the thing. Like me and my singer we talked a lot about it, like our strategy for, what we're gonna do with this last one, and it's like, well, we can't give them away because you have to assign some kind of value to your music.
Well, sure, man.
Because if you just give it to people, they don't give a fuck about it.
Exactly.
Like I was down in Hollywood a couple years ago, and we were like walking down Hollywood Boulevard, and every like 10 feet there was like a hip hop artist, and they had burned copies of their shit.
yeah.
And literally, it was probably every 10 or 20 feet for like probably half a block.
Wow.
These dudes are just handing you CDs, and I just stopped. I was like, I don't know, man, no.
Right.
And the guy's like, come on, man. I was like, no, man. I mean, he was like, you're putting your stuff on CDR. I was like, you don't give a fuck. Why would I give a fuck?
Right.
That's what I told him.
You're watering yourself down.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, it's
true.
So I mean, yeah, you don't give your stuff away. I mean, charge at least $5 for it. I mean, we keep our prices reasonable, but I think people appreciate it more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, because like you said, if you're acting like it's worth less, then people are going to take it as such, right?
Yeah, they're just throwing it in the back of their car and never listen to it.
That's it. Yep.
I mean, and I've been guilty of that too. But
oh yeah, me too.
But yeah, I mean, the vinyl resurgence is it's cool now because I mean, I remember buying vinyl like in the late '90s, and, trying to find the
That's when
fucking
it was
record.
like, totally dead.
Oh,
man.
dead as fuck. Like I couldn't even find a good Led Zeppelin
Right.
copy, like
Yep.
in good shape. I mean, because everybody in the '70s just listened to the fuck
They
out of
roached
Led
it.
Zeppelin.
Yeah, they just roached the record.
Yeah, they sat on it and chopped coke on it. You could tell,
Right.
it was all fucked up. I
Yep.
never found any good Led Zeppelin copies ever. And then so they reissue them now, and I think they sound better than ever, man. When they're done right, I mean,
That's a double-edged sword too.
It is, yeah.
I've had like I got a couple of Maiden reissues that were just circumstantial, just because I needed the CD wore out or whatever, and I needed a new copy, and I had to get the remastered version. And
yeah,
a couple of those like actually sound worse, I think.
really,
yeah. They're not as dynamic. They're really compressed, and
yeah. Well,
they're loud. They compare to the volume wise with everybody else nowadays, but there's no dynamics to it.
Yeah,
and it all just sounds mashed, and like the quiet parts sound really bad. And, but sometimes they do it right, like you said, and they nail it, and it does actually enhance it. Most of the time, it's the '70s recordings that can be enhanced, and they still sound good.
yeah.
But, like if it came out in the '80s and they try and do it, it seems like it fails
Because it's a digital source. Like
maybe.
a lot of these record companies, I guess, and this is what I try to tell people when they're getting into vinyl, is like you got to make sure that it's from the original master source,
right,
on these records, because some of these labels are taking like CD masters and just throwing them on vinyl. I think they did that with the Caius records, and they sound like absolute shit.
Yep.
So
Right.
So that's just a warning to anybody that is getting into vinyl. Just make sure you're getting the good stuff,
For sure.
and do your research, because you'll get fucked.
Yeah,
if you don't.
'Cause a lot of people don't know. I mean, and even I didn't know until I started. I had to do, because I'm an amateur audio engineer too, but and I had to master a few things for vinyl, and I didn't know until I had to do that there's the bandwidth on a record. It can only reproduce so many frequencies,
right?
And you can't, like you said, just take a CD master and throw it on vinyl and expect it to sound good.
Yeah,
it's gonna sound like balls.
That's what I was going to ask you, because I saw you guys had your vinyl on your merch tape on there. It's like, because I'd love to release a vinyl record, but it's really expensive, and
it is.
I'm a vinyl nerd myself, so
Sure.
I'm like, I would not want to fuck my people over.
Right on.
So I don't know what goes into doing the vinyl master. I've never done one before. I've recorded 2 records on 2-inch tape back in the day, but we never put it on vinyl. So what goes into that?
Basically, as long as you don't, part of the mastering process for like a CD or like a digital release is a lot of compression, so it keeps up with the so-called volume wars or whatever. So it's as loud as the next guy's CD, and that's where you can't do that with vinyl because of that limitation.
Right.
So as long as you whatever you're doing with the vinyl master, as long as you don't like compress it like that,
right,
then most of the time it'll sound good. You just got to allow some headroom.
Right.
Some dynamic headroom, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not an engineer. I don't know too much about that stuff. I mean, I've been in the room, but we always had somebody do that for us. I was just curious about that because it's like, what good? Hey, I'll come to you.
Right on. Yeah.
If we ever want to do a vinyl record, if we ever do a vinyl record, it's kind of like a bucket list thing. It's like, I'd like to have my own vinyl record someday.
Well, and if you do, I actually... I'm working with a plant that's out of Cleveland, if you can believe it.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, they're called Got a Groove. And
I think I've heard of them, yeah.
Yeah, they're a mom and pop operation. They're not like a big corporate thing, and they put out like better quality than a lot of the bigger companies do.
No shit.
Yeah, yeah.
Do they
and we're keeping it in Ohio, which is super awesome.
That is cool.
Yeah.
So they have their own press?
Yeah.
Oh, no shit.
Yep. You can look up Got a Groove, and you can get a price quote right on their website.
They do the 180 gram and all that shit.
They do 180 gram. They do regular, which would be like 150 gram or whatever. They do 7 inches. They do all that stuff. Yep.
I'm kind of noticing now because I got a bunch of 180 gram records.
Mm-hmm.
We're going off on a tangent about vinyl, but that's cool.
All right.
We can do whatever we want.
That's right.
So, but yeah, I bought a bunch of 180 grams, and then I started going back to the regular vinyls because it's like, man, I just hate flipping them every 2 songs.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
like, damn,
right.
man, it's a lot of work.
It is. It's true. And I mean, honestly, they're hardier. Really, that's the real advantage to a 180 gram record to a normal one. Is it's just a little hardier, and it's less prone to like warping and things like that. That's that's really the main advantage to them.
My favorite 180 grammer is when they just put 5 songs on the side, not 2.
Right.
I get it, but it's like, damn, man.
Because that's it too. There's only so much time that you could cram on one side of a vinyl before the grooves start getting so close together, and they start sounding bad.
Yeah.
So yeah, you kind of have to play it. I think it's like 20 minutes is like the max on one side before it really starts compromising the integrity of the sound.
So either write short songs or go ahead and write long songs.
Well, and I mean now just think about it. Like you just kind of have to incorporate it in your songwriting process and your record making process. Like the record we're getting ready to do right now is going to be 8 songs. And we've normally done like 10 songs, 11 songs. Yeah. But we're doing 8 so we could keep 4 songs on one side, 4 songs on the other side.
Strategic.
And it's not going to sound bad when we press it to vinyl.
Yeah. That's how they did it back in the day too. That's why a lot of old school records are short.
Yeah,
like
and you put your heavy songs first because they're going to sonically it's going to sound the best, and you put your lighter tracks that could stand to sound a little grittier. You put them at the end, on purpose.
I was listening to Black Magic today. I heard it when it first came out, and I went back and revisited that. The first time I saw you guys was Blackout Cookout a couple years ago.
Oh yeah, right on. That was
blew me away.
Here, actually,
I was like, man, those guys are damn good.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah, it's not your stereotypical like stoner rock band. You guys have more influence. Like a lot of those, a lot of stoner rock bands have, the influence, of course, is Sabbath and things like that. Which is nothing. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, and we get that a lot, of course.
But you know what it reminded me of? Black Magic. I heard a lot of old school like Blue Oyster Cult pre all the hits. You know,
I can dig that. We've definitely heard that before. Deep Purple, we get that a lot, and even like more obscure bands like Wishbone Ash and stuff like that. We've gotten some comparisons to that too, and I'm not going to complain about any of those comparisons. They're all fantastic.
They're all great bands,
in my eyes. So I mean, stoner is another. I hate putting music in a box.
Me too. It's hard to do.
Defining genres and subgenres and all this stuff, but
I hate it when people ask you like, "What do you sound like?" And you're like, "I don't fucking know, bro."
Well, when we get lumped in with stoner, we get lumped in. People call us metal too, and I'm like, we're not a metal band.
No, I didn't get that at all.
Right, but people call us that a lot, and I just say it's rock, dude. It's just rock.
It is. That's what it is.
At its core, really, that's what it is.
I'm even calling metal rock now. It's like it's all rock.
At its core, you want to trace it back, it all traces back to rock and roll, really.
Yeah, that's what we are, man. We're rock and roll musicians for sure.
Absolutely right.
So, I mean, what struck me about Black Magic also is, again, going back to songs. I'm a song guy, man. You just got to have songs if you're gonna do anything to stand out, because there's so many bands out there that are just noodling and doing whatever.
Sure.
And that's what struck me about you guys, and it's your vocals and your vocal harmonies and all that. Do you must spend a lot of time really working on the lyric side of it. And
That's
the vocals too,
really.
right?
I'm not really the guy for that question. It's really Corey, because Corey, a lot of people just don't know, but Corey writes 99% of this stuff, and he'll demo it. He'll demo a song, and he'll play everything on the demo. He'll play drums, he'll play bass, he'll do the guitars, do all the vocals, and he'll hand it to us and be like, "Here's a song. Change what you want to change about it.
Okay.
As far as your department goes, whatever instrument you're playing." And 9 times out of 10, we're like, "This is perfect. You structured
nailed
a perfect. Yeah, you played a perfect song. You wrote a perfect song, and we're just going to emulate what you did."
Yeah.
And so that's what we do 9 times out of 10.
Wow.
But I know he's not an overthinker, and I think that that's key to anything. Is like, you could go down a rabbit hole in your mind and overthink and overanalyze.
Yeah, absolutely.
And things get worse the more you think about them, right? But if you shoot from the hip and write from the heart or whatever, and don't think a lot about it, that's when the good stuff comes out.
Yeah.
I think. It's like you can relate to this being in a band, that like some of your best songs are the songs that just came out of nowhere when you were just you were just jamming and a riff came out and it turned into a song, and it's like your favorite song.
It's like, where the fuck did that come from?
Right.
We did that. I mean, I think one of the first songs we ever wrote, we still play to this day, and we've been a band for fucking 17 years.
Damn.
But yeah, I mean, we still
That's
play.
hardcore, dude. Congratulations.
Yeah, we just grinding it out, man.
That's not an easy task, man.
Well, we've had a couple of lineup. We have a different
course.
singer for every album.
Right on. Well,
so
nothing
far.
wrong with that. You're still chugging, though, man.
I think this is the lineup for us. But I mean,
right on.
I understand what you mean, and that's a special moment when you can get like in a circle and just have something come out of the ether, and it's like, wow, what the fuck?
Right.
I mean, because you have to write for yourself first, and you have to be a fan of your own music. I mean, that might sound a little. It's not egotistical.
I don't think it's egotistic. No, you have to be happy with what you write.
Yeah,
otherwise, what's the point, right?
Yeah, sure. It can't be miserable doing your shit. You got to look back at the end of the day and be like, I'm proud of this.
Absolutely.
So you guys don't. So you must do some jamming to write some songs.
And like the new stuff. Like you're gonna hear probably 3 out of the 8 new songs for the new record.
Oh, great.
Tonight.
Cool.
And we're opening up with one, and it was born out of a jam. And it was actually a jam. Dave Trick is our new drummer. He's been in since like March. But he was a fill-in drummer before he was our permanent drummer. And when he was a fill-in drummer, him and Corey were just jamming, and they came up with this groove. And instead of picking up a bass and chiming in with him, I'm like, oh my god, I got to record this. So I pulled my phone out and I just got a generic recording of it.
Ass pocket.
Yes. And a few months later, when he was compiling like the demos for what will be the new record, I sent him like that voice recording, like, don't forget this. Don't forget to write a song around this. So, like I said, you'll hear that tonight. That'll be the first song.
Excellent.
We play. But that was totally born out of a jam.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. I love both ways of doing it.
I do too. And I mean, that's, like I said, sometimes we deviate. That one's a deviation to where they wrote the music, in the jam room basically, and then he demoed it and was like, "I'm hitting a brick wall with the vocals, man. I really don't know what to do vocally." So he handed it to me, and I demoed vocals, and that ended up being the vocals for the song.
Cool.
But that's pretty rare. 9 times out of 10, it's him compiling the whole thing.
You guys said you had your own studio too, then? So you're recording all your own stuff?
Yeah, I do in my basement. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So when you go back to overanalyzing, man, if you're not on the crunch, because we had our own studio too, so I can relate to this too. A while ago, we don't have it anymore, but. And I think this is the reason why. It's because it took us 2 years to make a record, because we're like, It's like, we just got to get this done.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, because, it's cool having that at your disposal, but it's also not cool having that at your disposal because, like you said, we were having this conversation on the way up because there's a band that we know that has been working on a record for like a year plus now.
Yeah,
and I'm like, way to guarantee that you're going to hate this record when it's done because you've listened to it so long.
Yeah, it's old.
Just get the damn deal done, man. Right. There has to be a threshold where you're like, okay, it's done. It's good. It's done.
Yeah.
No matter what, I think being in a band this long, you can relate to this too. That it's part of being a musician and recording music is knowing that whatever you record. A year from now, you're probably going to wish that there were things that you would change about it.
Yeah, sure.
That's good. That's a sign of growth. That just means that you're better now than you were a year ago, right? That's how I think of it.
Right.
If you're satisfied with what you're doing, then you've stopped growing and you're stagnating at that point.
Right.
The way I think about it.
Yeah.
But just get comfortable with that. You just know yeah, there's going to be something you're going to want to change. Get over it.
Yeah.
You know, that never goes away. It's just one of the spoils of being an artist in general, I think.
Yeah. I think at a certain point as an artist, you kind of got to let those little nuances of the change, the stuff you want to change. I just let it go.
Absolutely.
As long as the songs are good and the recording's good, I'm like, that's what you got to be proud of.
Right.
You know.
Yep.
Yeah.
Especially, and if other people are digging it, you know,
Yes.
if other people are digging it, then that's the real point, man. You
Yeah.
know?
That is so flattering too. You know, it's like that's just icing on the cake.
Absolutely, it's the most flattering thing ever, I think, for sure.
Yeah. So how long are you guys along in this new recording, and when can we expect it to come on out?
They're all done, and normally when we go in to record, you know, we'll have 8 songs or whatever ready to go. And Corey is really good about doing this, and it drives me crazy. When we're in the middle of the recording process, he'll come in one day and be like, "Oh, guys, I wrote this awesome song last night. We should just put it on the new record." And
well, that's 9 songs.
Well, and it's my problem with it is, yes, when he brings these songs to the table, they're great songs, but we have to learn them and commit to them right then and there. And then, we record them, and then a year later, we're playing them so much better because they got a chance to mature.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So as a guys, I know we go down this path every time. This time, damn it, we're not going to do that.
Right.
We're going to take these songs, and we're going to give them their proper maturity time to mature, and we're going to woodshed them in the basement or whatever, till we know that they're ready and they're done. And so we did that this time, and I think it's going to have a huge impact on the final product.
Cool.
I
Yeah,
really
it
feel that
probably
way.
will.
Yeah.
Jam. I mean, we've done both things. Like we'll play songs for like a year and then go and record them. But I think on this last one, what we did, we only had parts of songs. We went into the studio, not even completely written.
And you were writing them in the studio.
We wrote them and recorded them right fucking there.
And there, like I said, there's some magic there.
Yeah,
There's definitely some magic.
It worked
there.
out. We were scared to death because we'd never done it before.
Right.
But that has a benefit too. I recommend every band try that at least once. Just fucking put the pressure down on yourselves and just see what comes out.
But like case in point, there's what song is it? Oh, Slow Death off of Black Magic.
Yeah.
That was a song that Corey came in the middle of the process and said, "I wrote this song. Let's record it." And we did. And we listen back to it now, and like we played it so fast because we were learning it, and we were nervous because we were just learning it. Now we play it so much more relaxed and cool, and like, the tempo's way cooler now.
You're like, damn it,
right?
Let's re-record it.
Exactly.
Which you can do that if you want to.
We can, and there's a couple of songs that we actually entertained doing that. For various reasons. Well, we're a 3-piece now too.
Cool.
We've been a 4-piece, since our inception.
You guys were a 4-piece last time I saw you, I think.
We were, but we're a 3-piece now. We
Okay.
turned into a 3-piece right around March, right around the same time we got Dave. We actually, like half the band, we kind of lost half the band.
Oh, yeah.
All at once. Well, because half the band was in another band, Necromancing the Stone, and they got signed to Metal Blade.
Okay.
They're way more of like a progressive thrash kind of band.
Okay.
And they started jumping on some bigger tours, and so Brimstone started to take a back seat because half our band was gone. And
you're like, no.
So it just reached an impasse to where we had to make a decision, basically.
Right.
And there, like, again, no hard feelings between anybody involved. It was
sure.
just a conscious, mature decision between us all. And so, John left and Justin left at the same time, so we lost our singer and our drummer.
Right. Damn it,
it was
man.
just, down to me and Corey. And thankfully, we had Dave locked and loaded from being a fill-in. When we asked him, I didn't even get the question fully out before he was like, yes, I'll join.
Yeah.
So
cool.
He saved our butts there. And
exhale.
We had, and just circumstantially, we had to play a couple of shows that were already booked when Necromancing had shows booked too. So we had to like relearn parts and basically learn the main vocal.
Okay.
Instead of doing the backup vocals like Corey and I were used to doing.
Yeah.
So once we did that, we're like, man, like, we can probably do this. Like, we could just do this full time. Like, it's going to be a transition. We're going to have to learn all these parts.
Yeah.
But we could do it. We could just do the power trio thing. So.
Yeah. Hey, less people is easier to manage.
A lot more room in the van.
Yeah. You can stretch out
exactly
on those long hauls.
Yep.
Do you guys play have you gone on national tours
no
grinders or just?
No, we've done some Midwest runs. I mean, the longest we've run out was like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Not this past summer, but the summer before, there's a band from San Francisco called Castle, named Castle. Okay. They're on Vans Records.
Okay.
But they're constantly touring, and they're besides the fact that they're signed, all their touring and stuff is all DIY. They book their own shows.
Yep.
They don't work with any booking managers or anything like that.
That's tough.
It's super tough.
Yeah.
They live in their van, but they were coming through, and we met up with them in Chicago. We played our way to Chicago, met up with them in Chicago, and then did like a week and a half's worth of dates with them, working our way back home, basically.
Cool, yeah.
That was the longest run we've done. And we'll play, random shows as far as like Milwaukee,
Yeah.
We'll drive upwards of 10 hours for a show if we have to.
It's kind of smart to stay, like, if you guys, being an independent band and wanting to travel, it's kind of smart to stay in like a more of a compact area. Like you stay like the East Coast or Midwest,
right?
And just fucking hammer those states over and over and over again.
No, I mean we've hit the Midwest super hard. So I'd really love to go up north, like up past upstate New York into New England, and I would really love to go south, like down into Georgia and the Carolinas and stuff. Because I've never been there. Period. Like I've never even seen those areas of the country.
Right. Yeah.
And I would love to do that. So it's just an issue of getting the right connections and making it happen.
Yeah, man, it's tough out there booking shows.
Yeah, absolutely. That's it's the most frustrating thing about being in a band. If you ask me,
I could relate 100%, man.
Yep, it's the worst.
Because bouncing back, the good part about living in Ohio is I don't know why people shit on Ohio so much. This is a great state.
Oh yeah, I would totally agree.
I mean, it's a great state to be in a band too because there's major markets within 8 hours all over the fucking place.
Yep.
You're not in Kansas City. Imagine me in a band in Kansas City. There's fucking nothing.
Right.
You go out and you're just driving for hundreds of miles before there's another major city.
Exactly, but you can go from like Pittsburgh to our area to Columbus to Cincinnati to Indianapolis, and then if you head up north to Cleveland or whatever. I mean, those are all major cities that you could hit, and you could make a
weekend shit.
Yeah, you can make a week run out of that if you wanted to easy.
Yeah, it's perfect.
And they're all good venues and good people that go to the shows. Like, yeah, it's a cool place to be in a band for sure, man.
Yeah, man, the independent band for sure.
Yes.
So, what are the plans for the new year as far as shows go?
Well, it's all about we're going to take our time with this record. I mean, and it normally doesn't take us too long to record, but we're not setting a deadline on it. So I'm imagining that we're just going to take the winter to record, and then by spring we'll be ready to get up and promote the new record. So
that's exactly what we need.
We don't have anything booked really because of just not putting the timeline on the recording, but we're down for whatever, man. And we it's spring and summer. We like to hit it as hard as we can.
Yeah. You guys sound just like us, man.
Yeah,
we'd be two peas in a pod.
Right on,
together.
Man. Well, let's do that. Let's just do that.
Where can everybody find you guys at?
Well, we're on all this, social media. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We have a Bandcamp. You can look up Brimstone Coven on Bandcamp.
Cool.
We have a YouTube channel. All that stuff, man.
Okay, I'll look it all up and throw some links on at the outro of this.
That would be fantastic.
All right, man. We'll have a good show, and thank you for talking to me.
Thank you for having me.
And we'll do it again next time you're around.
Sounds good.
Let's keep up the convo.
Right on.
Peace.
Peace.